Hello everyone! Welcome back to Bible Q&A. Today we're discussing, why did Jesus judge the Pharisees? We all know that Jesus is a loving, welcoming person. He offered to relieve us of our burdens in Matthew chapter 11 verses 28 to 30. He told us to love both our neighbors and our enemies in Mark chapter 12 verse 31 and Luke chapter 6 verses 27 to 28. He healed countless people while he was on earth. Most importantly, he told us we shouldn't judge other people in Matthew chapter 7 verse 1. However, Jesus was also known to condemn the Pharisees constantly. He called them hypocrites in Mark chapter 7 verses 6 to 7. He called them blind guides in Matthew chapter 23 verse 16. He said they sinned in Matthew chapter 22 verse 29. He was clearly judging them by saying these things, so why did he do that? Well, Matthew chapter 7 verse 1 seems like a blanket command to not judge anyone, but verses 2 to 5 make it more specific. Those verses are the story with the speck and the beam, teaching people about hypocrisy. Christ didn't say that we shouldn't judge people. Rather, he meant that before we condemn people, we should ensure we aren't guilty of the offense that we're pointing out. Otherwise, we'd be exposed as hypocrites. As Paul said, "Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judges. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself, for thou that judgest doest the same things." Romans chapter 2 verse 1. Was Christ guilty of the things he was pointing out? No. He didn't steal money. He didn't teach lies. He didn't place obeying the Sabbath above worshiping God. Therefore, he was qualified to denounce the Pharisees when they did those things. Plus, for thousands of years, Christ has watched governments do this very thing. When people break their laws, they take them to court, they judge them, and if they're guilty, they throw them in jail. If they can judge people, why can't he? In addition, Jesus didn't chastise people for the sake of it. He needed to do it because he was working to build a church, and he knew that if wickedness wasn't identified and condemned, it would soon grow to overtake what he wanted to set up. In our time, because people refuse to condemn evil, the world is sinking more and more into sin, according to Ezekiel chapter 34 verses 1 to 6. Many religious leaders ignore their followers' evil doings because they want to please men rather than God. When things go wrong because of the sin they refuse to condemn, pastors will simply pray for the deliverance of their flock. However, because they allowed sin to thrive, they too are wicked, and we know that God doesn't answer the prayers of the wicked. As it was said in Isaiah, "And when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yea, when ye make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood." Isaiah chapter 1 verse 15. Another reason Jesus judged the Pharisees was so that he could try to contain their lies. If wickedness is allowed to stew for a long time, pastors in the church can teach lies and mislead entire congregations, according to Matthew chapter 15 verse 14 and Jeremiah chapter 14 verse 14. Pastors know that what they are teaching is false, but they also know that the true gospel is harsh, because even Jesus lost a lot of followers preaching it in John chapter 6 verse 66. Their followers would rather hear a sweeter gospel that focuses on salvation rather than sin. As it was said in Isaiah, they tell the prophets to keep quiet. They say, "Don't talk to us about what's right. Tell us what we want to hear. Let us keep our illusions." Isaiah chapter 30 verse 10 according to the Good News Bible. The pastors get more money because their softer message brings more people to the church, and the churchgoers feel happier because their sins aren't being condemned. Therefore, both of them temporarily benefit from this arrangement. However, this situation is ultimately harmful for the church because people don't feel motivated to become righteous, and therefore Satan can easily lead them to sin, according to Revelation chapter 12 verse 9. Of course, Jesus' criticism was just setting the stage for the much grander reckoning of his Father, Jehovah, who is the ultimate judge. As the psalmist said, "And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself." Psalms chapter 50, verse 6. We can also look at Psalms chapter 75, verse 7. God is judging people with his gospel, which is being preached around the world. As it was said in John, "He that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words hath one that judgeth him, the word that I have spoken. The same shall judge him in the last day." John chapter 12, verse 48. Those who accept it will be blessed, while those who don't will be punished. This gospel is being preached by the saints, who are working to make sinners realize the error of their ways, according to Jude verses 14 to 15 and 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 1 to 3. This word will expose their evil deeds, according to Hebrews chapter 4 verse 12. And although they may not come to the faith, their persecution of Christianity will certainly come to an end. Now, the end goal of all this preaching, like that of Christ's preaching 2,000 years ago, is to uncover lies and hypocrisy so true Christians aren't deceived. It's like how light clears away darkness so we don't get injured. As Paul said, "But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light, for whatsoever doth make manifest is light." Ephesians chapter 5 verse 13. Consequently, when we see this light, we should accept it. Only people who have something to hide fear to come to the light. As Jesus said, "For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved." John chapter 3 verse 20. Sinners fear the light because deep down they know there's nothing they can do to stop it, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 8. It will overcome them and disrupt all their plans. Therefore, my advice is that just like Jesus judged the Pharisees, we should judge our fellow Christians when they do the wrong thing, as long as we do so righteously, according to John chapter 7 verse 24. When we do this, we aren't being malicious. We're just following the example of the book we believe in. As Paul said, "All scripture is given by inspiration of God, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works." 2 Timothy chapter 3 verses 16 to 17. And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A. Why did Jesus judge the Pharisees? He judged them so he could stop sin from spreading, and so that he could bring light to the world. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.